Have you ever avoided getting in front of people on social media? Or maybe it is you've avoided talking to someone who you really want to communicate with. Maybe you've had a dream of being on the stage and talking to people, but something keeps holding you back. So, what is that something that's holding you back? That's one of the things that I kind of want to talk about tonight because it happens to a lot of us, and it has definitely been me in the past. And I will say the first time that I went live on social media that I remember, that is, I was a bumbling idiot because I had everything down in writing. I didn't trust myself to be able to just have a conversation, right? And then the first time I actually spoke in public where I was the speaker on the stage and I had an audience out there, I had a little pile of, let me show you. I had like a pile of index cards and I read them one by one because I didn't trust myself to be able to know what to say. And so it was very obvious that I was nervous, I was scared, I was all of these things. And I felt judged, whether anybody was judging me or not. I felt judged because I was judging me. And then there was a time when I first became a coach that I was supposed to create this website. And on this website, I had videos that I would talk to the people about different parts of the website, right? And that video is so laughable now because I didn't trust myself then either. So I had the computer in front of me and the little camera, and I had written every single thing word for word that they said we were supposed to say, but we were supposed to put it in our own words, right? But I didn't trust my own words. I had it written out and I had pieces, and there was a brick wall behind me because I was doing this outside. And I had gotten this tape, that the not electrical tape, the masking tape, and I had stuck them up all on the wall. So as I'm talking to people, I'm reading all the way around the camera. And that's how it looked when I started. And so it's funny now to think about because come a long way. Not to say I'm perfect by any means, but the thing is that is beautiful about it is the people that resonate the way I talk, with the things that I share, with my message, they come. And I'm not trying to be someone other than me. And for a long time, I tried to be someone other than me. And the interesting thing is, I feel like, and a lot of the people that follow me know this, but I felt like I filtered my voice my whole life, depending on what I thought other people would think, who I was in front of, what their beliefs were. I filtered it all the time. And some of it was a good filtering. It was with work and stuff like that, but I did it in other areas. And most people really didn't even realize that I didn't speak what I wanted to speak. I just held my tongue, right? And I was looking for a way to jump out of that, to get out of that space, but I didn't know how. And one day I was watching or I was listening, well, I was actually on YouTube doing it, but there was a podcast that was on YouTube and I was watching it and I thought, oh my gosh, they're just talking about all kinds of things. Maybe I could do that. But I always felt that I'm not a techie person. That was my phrase. I'm not a techie person. And so what would happen was I thought since I'm not a techie person, that a podcast would be way out of my wheelhouse. There'd be no way that I could do it. So I just forgot about it. And then one day I just happened to have, as coincidence or God or whatever would have happened, I saw this thing on Facebook with Stacey Lauren and a Start Your Podcast challenge. And I thought, okay, what could it hurt? What if it doesn't work? Does it matter? It's not going to make any difference. I'm not going to even tell anybody I'm taking the challenge. I'll just do it. And then if I have a podcast, great. And if I don't, no harm, no foul, right? That's how I looked at it. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm willing to just go ahead and give it a try. And man, oh man, was it amazing. I started my podcast and I'm getting really close to my 100th episode now. And it's been just right at a year. But how I've grown and changed so much in all this time is just mind-boggling to me. And, like I said in the beginning, I couldn't even talk to people about things. Now, I could just have conversations with someone. Like if I was one of those people that if I was standing in line at the grocery store or something, I might have a conversation with somebody behind me. That didn't bother me. But to get in front of this camera and record something would have made my heart palpitate. I would have been breaking out of sweat. And I probably would have said, I don't think I want to do that now, and I would have just let it go. But something about starting that podcast, and even though I did produce it as a video, there are places that it is just audio too, right? But for some reason, it felt good. And I think part of it was because I knew that if anybody watched it and they didn't like it, even if they said something, I didn't have to read it. And because I don't know them. And then if they didn't want to watch it and they just didn't watch it again, I didn't know that either. And so I was okay with that. So it just kind of opened this up. And so I started off just talking myself, like kind of like I'm doing right here, right now, just talking. And then I was in a Facebook group one day and I saw someone sharing a story. And it was one of we were doing a workshop. And this gentleman shared a story about being an amputee and that it was the best thing that had ever happened to him because it changed his life. And I thought, oh, I'd love to hear that story. So I reached out to him and said, hey, I have a podcast. I would love to have you on as a guest. And he said yes. And I thought, oh my gosh, what? And so then it started. And the Stacy that helped me start my podcast, I asked her early on, I said, when can I have you as a guest? And she said, when you get 20 episodes, I'll be a guest. So then it was like, okay, first thing I need to do is get 20 episodes. And I did. And then she was a guest. But the thing that has been amazing to me along this journey is that once I started the podcast and I had that first guest, I was hooked because I love meeting these people. And I have met so many people that I never would have ever been close to meeting before. And I've even been so excited about my podcast that I have reached out to authors of books that I've read. What? It's amazing, right? And, not to say that they all answer, they don't. But the thing that's different about me now, as I've been going through this journey, is that it doesn't matter if they don't want to do it. I had one person, I keep getting the hair in my face, I'm sorry. But I had one person that said I didn't have a big enough following, and that's okay. And, maybe one day, or maybe she's just not the right fit. It doesn't matter. But it's like, it's the thing that I do for myself. I love it. It's my self care. And so it has been very instrumental in changing the way I show up and how comfortable I am talking to people. I'm talking unscripted, just talking. Now, not to say there aren't times that I have notes. I sometimes do. And sometimes I'll have little bullet points that I want to make sure I touch on this and I touch on this. But that's okay too, right? But the thing is that now I let intuition guide me. Like before I got on here tonight, I had a little bit of a talk with God and I had a prayer and I said, okay, God, whatever it is that I need to talk about tonight, because on my thing, it just said, it was supposed to say, what do we even want to talk about? But hey, I left the V out, so no big deal, right? But I didn't know what I was going to talk about at all. So I said my prayer and said, okay, God, whatever it is I need to share, let me just share. All right, I apologize. I'm in the South and the pollen is horrible, but not horrible. It is a bit difficult. So I apologize. Or is that God saying, stop talking? I don't know. So the thing is, I love talking and sharing. And I love sharing people's stories. I have a Facebook group that we are such a tight knit community that it is the light of my life basically right now to be in that Facebook group and help mentor these people. And so if you would like to be part of my Facebook group, you're more than welcome to. Come to VickiePoole.com, and that's VickiePoole.com, and then just answer the questions and you will be entered into the group, and then I will message you and you can just explore everything that's in there. It's a beautiful group. So I believe I have said all I feel compelled to say. So you have an exceptionally blessed day. And if you are having a little bit of a problem with being able to speak out like this, being able to talk where you want to, then please reach out and let me help you. Mwah.